The tension in the lobby shifted subtly. At first, a client was still speaking when the atmosphere thickened, charged with an unspoken electricity, moments before the double doors crashed open. An instinct warned me that trouble was imminent. Then it arrived. The grand entrance doors flew apart with explosive force, drawing every gaze in the room simultaneously. Framed dramatically in the doorway stood Karen Miller, the domineering president of our neighborhood HOA and the undisputed scourge of both the community and this workplace. Her face radiated more than mere anger, it glowed with victory, as though this confrontation had been her lifelong ambition. She marched across the gleaming marble floor in expensive heels, one perfectly manicured finger extended directly toward me. My clients exchanged bewildered glances and murmured among themselves. "You're fired." "Effective immediately," she announced, her voice booming through the spacious lobby loud enough to make the building manager behind the desk recoil. "Pack your belongings and leave my building within the hour." Heat surged to my cheeks as I sensed every stare fixed upon me. Clients, colleagues, and even the coffee cart attendant froze in place. My clients fidgeted awkwardly in their chairs. Yet despite the humiliating display, I maintained my composure. Karen remained planted there like a conquering antagonist, arms folded tightly and a smug grin spreading across her face, reveling in my public humiliation. But she was unaware of the reality. She had no clue about the developments already underway and secret developments that lent me the resolve to square my shoulders and return her glare without the slightest hint of fear. I nodded once and responded calmly. "I believe there's been a misunderstanding, Karen." Her features contorted in fury. "The only misunderstanding is that you believed you could remain employed here after your dismal performance," she snarled. "Now leave before I summon security." 6 weeks earlier, I was simply an unassuming financial advisor. Nothing extravagant, but I genuinely enjoyed assisting clients with their investment portfolios and retirement strategies. The job felt rewarding. The office itself wasn't luxurious, yet it provided reliable stability. The sole drawback was Karen. She not only served as president of the HOA in the subdivision where we both resided, but she also oversaw the management of this very office building. That dual authority gave her an ironclad hold over my daily existence. Karen reveled in excessive control. She would mandate precise thermostat temperatures, designate parking spots on whim, and circulate policy emails as if directing a military operation. Any deviation, challenge to her rulings, or even a subtle eye roll would earn you an official reprimand at work or worse, an HOA infraction notice plastered on your front door when you returned home. I'd watched talented colleagues resign simply to flee her tyranny, but I endured because circumstances had shifted. 2 months prior, my uncle had died. His estate included a substantial inheritance, sufficient to launch an entirely new chapter. I resisted the urge to splurge on a luxury vehicle or relocate far away. Instead, I opted for something enduring. Upon discovering that the exact building housing my office was up for sale, it seemed almost destined. Discreetly established a holding company to conceal my involvement and submitted a bid. It was approved with surprising speed. The closing date was scheduled for the upcoming week, and I kept the entire process confidential. I carried on attending work each day as though nothing had changed. Karen's conduct, meanwhile, only intensified. She started issuing daily emails on workplace etiquette and positioned surveillance cameras aimed straight at staff workstations. She imposed fresh HOA guidelines and restrictions so trivial they verged on vindictive. One neighbor, Mrs. Peterson, a 70-year-old widow, was reduced to tears after receiving a $500 penalty for selecting the incorrect variety of flowers for her yard. That incident solidified my conviction that Karen had to be reined in. Only last week, she had cornered me in the break room, jabbing her finger accusingly because I allowed clients to enter through the main doors. "This isn't some cheap, rundown establishment," she snapped. "If you possessed even a shred of professionalism, you wouldn't be confined to that cramped little office." I had offered my usual polite smile and nod, but she remained completely oblivious to the fact that I had signed the closing papers for the building just hours earlier. As of 9 o'clock that same morning, I had become the official owner of the entire property. Yet here she stood, attempting to humiliate me in front of everyone. I gathered my documents with deliberate calm and rose from my seat. I apologize for the interruption, I said to my clients. Would you mind if we continued this tomorrow? They murmured agreement, looking uneasy, and quickly departed. Karen advanced toward me, lowering her voice to a venomous whisper. I've dreamed of this moment for months. You lack ambition, you lack vision. People like you are merely stepping stones. People like me climb right over you to reach the top. I refuse to react. You may find yourself surprised, Karen. With that, I headed for the exit, deliberately pulling out my phone so she could overhear. Hey, James. Yes, the deal closed without issue. The building was transferred to me this morning. Can you get the new management announcements ready for tomorrow? Appreciate it. I hung up and cast a brief glance over my shoulder. Karen stood frozen, her jaw slightly slack, eyes wide with shock. I left her there, utterly silent for once. The following morning, I arrived ahead of schedule alongside my newly appointed property management crew. We placed official notices on every level of the building. Effective immediately, Smith Properties has assumed ownership of Oakwood Professional Center. Please direct all concerns to David Williams, the new building manager. Precisely at 9, I settled into the security office to observe the fresh camera feeds. Karen strode up to the entrance, swiped her old access card denied with the red flash. She swiped again, still locked out. Predictably, furious knocking on the glass followed. A security officer approached, gesturing toward the posted notice. She scanned it, her features contorting in disbelief. David unlocked the door and invited her in, attempting a measured explanation of the new reality. She brushed past him without a word and charged toward her former office, only to find the handle immovable. The locks had all been replaced overnight. By this point, curious staff members had begun clustering nearby to watch the unfolding scene. Where is he? She demanded, whirling to confront the group. Where is that insignificant nobody who believes he can toy with me? I emerged from the elevator and approached. Good morning, Karen. I'm sure David has already informed you about the ownership transition. She forced a laugh, but fear flickered beneath it. You actually purchased this building? You drive a decade-old Honda? I prefer to live well within my means, I replied evenly. But that's beside the point. Smith Properties is my company. I acquired the building last week, with the title transferring officially yesterday morning. Officially roughly an hour before you attempted to dismiss me. All color drained from her face. This has to be some prank. You can't possibly do this. I've managed this place for 7 years. I'll sue you for unlawful termination. Feel free to reach out to my attorneys, I said, extending a business card. We've already assembled a file on your practices, complete with employee complaints and recorded footage. She trembled with fury. Effective immediately, your role is eliminated. Please leave the property. We'll have your personal items boxed and sent to you. That pushed her over the edge. She erupted in screams, insulting everyone in sight, cursing loudly while overturning chairs. She seized a large potted plant and flung it across the lobby, narrowly missing an elderly visitor entering the doors. Then she stormed the reception area and swept the receptionist's monitor, crashing to the floor. This is my building, she howled. You're all dismissed, every last one of you. David summoned additional security. I moved forward, hoping to calm the situation. Karen, please stop. You're only hurting your own position. She whirled toward me, eyes blazing. You believe this is a victory? I'm still president of the HOA. I'll cite you for every overgrown blade of grass. I'll turn your existence into misery. When the guards arrived and attempted to escort her out, she struck one of them across the face. That sealed it. David contacted the authorities. Police officers soon appeared and tried to reason with her. She barricaded herself behind the front desk, hurling threats. When she shoved forward, attempting to reach me, they were forced to subdue her physically. She was placed in handcuffs and read her charges: vandalism, disorderly conduct, assault on an officer, and criminal trespass. The lobby grew hushed as she was led away, still ranting and resisting. The next week, she faced the judge. Charged with 3 misdemeanors, her justifications fell flat. The court imposed 100 hours of community service, mandated $7,000 in restitution for damages, and enforced a restraining order barring her from approaching within 100 feet of the building or contacting any staff member. Then came the ultimate consequence. The HOA board convened an urgent session. Once the video of her arrest spread through the neighborhood, members voted without dissent to strip her of the presidency. When the board delivered the decision, she lowered herself into a chair gradually, expression vacant, lips parting soundlessly. For the first time in all the years I'd known her, Karen Miller was utterly speechless. If you enjoy watching justice finally overtake a true tyrant, please smash that like button that truly supports the channel's growth. And remember to subscribe so you catch more shocking tales of office and community revenge. Fresh stories are released weekly, and the next one will leave you stunned.